We used to have a beautiful bookshelf in our drawing room and it was filled with my girlfriend's books. She buys them for herself as she loves to read and I don't. Most of these books she's had since childhood. We get lots of compliments over it. She had added little potted plants, handmade photo frames with art from her favorite books and series, bookmark stands and stuff to it. Over the years, this book obsession has gone out of hand. She owns so many books. She has an Instagram page for her books. She listens to YouTubers who only talk about books. She has a lot of friends who don't really do anything but read these pretentious, fat books, unlike my girlfriend who is in law school and doing very well. She wastes money on more and more books when in my opinion she should be devoting that money to our house and relationship since it's been 3 years and we're fairly serious now. For context, we do split most of the house expenses, but she currently earns more than me because she has a really fancy internship right now. Given our respective fields, her earning more than me all through life is something I've accepted. I was worried that even after she gets a real job, she'll continue to burn all her money away instead of putting it to good use around the house. What's worse, I don't think she actually likes reading. She had a very abusive childhood and books were her coping mechanism. She doesn't live with her parents anymore though, so I don't see why she's still so attached to them. In my opinion, it's unhealthy. I'm not saying that she should be over it or anything, but her obsession with her coping mechanism is just stupid. You wouldn't mistake her for a reader if you saw her. She's very pretty and feminine with a gorgeous figure and fabulous hair. She wears makeup, dresses fancy, and is a life of the party sort of girl. So I don't think I'm wrong when I say that she doesn't actually like reading at all. So to help her out, I hid a good chunk of her books to sort of test the waters. Some of them were really old and from when she was a child in her parents' house, and her favorite. I felt the experiment would be meaningless if I just hid a couple she wouldn't immediately notice even though she reads every day, so she checks her bookshelf every day. When she asked if I took them, she already looked so worried I told her that I threw them away to show her that she can be fine without them. She flipped out, threatened to leave, the whole works. I got angry and told her the truth and said that she was welcome to her shitty crutches because she had just lost her boyfriend over them. She just laughed and went to go find her books. I left the house. When I went back, she was giving me the silent treatment and at night asked me when I was planning on leaving because apparently we're over. I'm currently living on my best friend's couch who's saying that I messed up big time, but he's always kind of wanted to bang her, so I don't believe him. Am I the asshole for helping my girlfriend get over her trauma?
Story time about how I got drunk at a party, confessed to my crush that I was in love with him, and he rejected me in front of everybody. Disclaimer is not my story time. I was sending me on Instagram. All of this happened 3 years ago when I was in college. I'm painfully shy and I had the biggest crush on this guy. We took some of the same classes and I'm pretty sure he didn't even know I existed. My friends would constantly tell me to go talk to him, but I just didn't have the nerve. So sometimes I would just stare at him in class, nothing else. I actually even gave up on the thought of having a boyfriend because I'm just so shy. One of my classmates was having a party and he was really nice. He invited everyone in the class and told us to show up with drinks. Oh yeah, and I don't tend to drink a lot, so I have no experience. I overheard my crush telling him that he was gonna go to the party, so I decided to go to the party too. The party was the following night, and I knew I wanted to look absolutely gorgeous to this party, so that same day I went to get a new outfit, and I also went to get a mani-pedi. I even went as far as going to Sephora to get my makeup done. I don't really know how to do my makeup, and I actually don't even have much, so I show up to the party looking like $1,000,000, and literally nobody recognized me. I pretty much looked like a different person. And of course, the first thing I did when I got to the party was look for my crush. That's when I realized that I was definitely one of the first people there. Finally, one of my friends shows up and she convinces me to have a few drinks. She told me I needed to loosen up, especially before my crush arrived. I agreed and had a glass of wine. As soon as I finished that glass of wine, my crush walks in. And my plan was working because he started eyeing me right away. He even went up to my friend and asked me who I was. That's when she said she's the girl that's in our class. He laughed it off and said, oh yeah, I know her name. And he didn't know my name. Like I said before, he had no idea I existed. He walks up to me and starts talking to me about class. Of course, I'm extremely shy, so I had no idea what to say. Out of nowhere, I just started talking back to him. I'm assuming it was the wine that loosened me up. I wasn't feeling super nervous, my palms were not sweaty, and we actually spoke for about 15 minutes. He asked me if I want a drink, and of course I said yes. And before I knew it, I had chugged another glass of wine. Out of nowhere, I just started telling him that I've had a crush on him for months. I told him that I would just stare at him in class, and that I never really had the courage to ever speak to him before. It was like the word vomit scene in Mean Girls. I just couldn't shut up. In my mind, I fully expected him to just be like, oh my god, I like you too. But instead, he quickly gets up and says, you're joking, right? And I say, no, of course not. And he says, well, I have a girlfriend. And then I say, no, you don't. And he said, yeah, I do. How do you know I don't? Because I've stalked you on social media and I know you're sleeping with half the girls in our class. He looks around at everyone standing nearby. Then he looks back at me and tells me, yeah, you're definitely crazy. He looks at my friend and tells her that she needs to take me home because I'm too drunk. That's when I grab his arm and ask him what's wrong. Honestly, I couldn't comprehend what was actually happening. He pulled his arm away really hard. He told me I was really creepy for telling him that I was staring at him in class and that I stalked him on social media. I quickly realized what I had just done. I confessed my feelings to my crush and I also creeped him out at the same time. The next words that came out of his mouth still haunt me to this day. He said, and I quote, I would never ever date a freak like you. It's obvious you've never had a boyfriend and you probably never will. And yeah, everyone at the party heard exactly what he said. I was mortified and couldn't speak. There I am, standing in my stupid dress, my makeup and my hair, which I had spent like $400 on, all to end up looking like a fool. That's when my friend grabs my hand, pulls me out of the party, and takes me to my dorm. I curled up in bed and watched Netflix for the next 2 days. When I finally had to go back to class, there he was, and he literally just ignored me like I didn't even exist again. That's when I decided to turn my life around. I lost 30 pounds, and I started gaining the confidence that I never had. And guess what? As soon as I lost the weight and started dressing differently, my crush started talking to me. He would try to be casual about it, but then eventually I asked him if he didn't remember how he treated me at the party. He apologized and said that I had just made him feel uncomfortable. A few weeks after that conversation, he asked me out, but I said no. Fast forward to now. He DM'd me because we live in the same city and asked me out on a date. I said no again. I usually date 3 guys at a time. I've been proposed to 4 times and said no, but I'm kind of tempted to at least go on a date with him. What do you guys think? I mean, he's still kind of cute.
I was 24 when I met my SO 23 3 years ago. I never wanted kids, so we always used protection, but I guess shit happens and she ended up giving birth 6 months ago. I told her when she got pregnant that I wouldn't be waking up to do anything with the baby at night because I work. If I had to tune into waking up every time he cried, I'd never get any sleep. So she's been good with being the one waking up at night. Recently I got laid off for winter, and now that I'm home, she's acting like I should be waking up at night to help her. I don't think that's fair because I'll end up with the same problem I stated above. When I go back to work, I can't really afford to lose sleep. Now to the incident at hand. A few nights ago, my son was being particularly fussy at night. I ended up waking up while she was getting his chair. I guess it seemed he'd be up a while. She put him in the bed when she got up, so I scooted closer and cuddled him a bit. Almost looked like he might fall asleep. A few minutes go by and he starts fussing like crazy. I look around the room and my girlfriend is nowhere to be seen. Now I'll admit, I did get angry. I was tired and it pissed me off that she just left like that. Sometimes when I get overly frustrated, I lash out at myself. This is where I think I might have been the asshole. I hit myself in the face a few times and said something I probably shouldn't have. My girlfriend came storming back upstairs with the baby monitor in her hand, saying she heard and saw the whole thing and that I was unbelievable. I spatted her that she wouldn't know what it's like to need sleep when you work because she's never worked hard a day in her life. She's never worked as hard as I do in my current job, but we did work 2 other places together before she got pregnant. But she hasn't worked in a little over a year. I think what I said was warranted. Anyway, she said she's not even sure if she wants to be with me anymore and has been giving me the silent treatment for 3 days, even though I said I was sorry. I don't want her to make my son a fatherless child. Am I the asshole for telling my SO she's never worked hard?
My 25 female stepsister, 23 female, is getting married to my ex, 26 male. We were close as any 2 sisters growing up. My mum and her dad met when we were 8 and 6, and we got along really well from the get-go. My ex-boyfriend broke up 2 years ago. He cheated on me. I found out about it a week after he proposed to me. 5 to 6 months later, stepsister told me that she and ex-boyfriend have started dating. I couldn't believe my ears. I was very angry at her, but the rest of my family, mum, stepdad, 2 half-sisters, didn't think it was a betrayal at all, and my mum once yelled at me to grow up and move on. I gradually distanced myself from stepsister without making a fuss. I just poured myself into my studies instead and hid behind the "I'm swamped" excuse. I started dating my current boyfriend, CB, 25 male, about 10 months ago. The only problem is that stepsister used to have this huge crush on him, and she still, to this day, texts and DMs him. They never dated. I haven't told anyone in my family that I'm seeing someone. Stepsister and ex-boyfriend got engaged, and they have sent the wedding invitations last month. Wedding in June. I didn't RSVP because I don't want to attend. Last week my mum asked me to visit. When I got there, my mum was waiting with stepsister, her BFF and maid of honour, my half-sisters and ex-boyfriend's sister. It was an intervention. My mum started by saying that I needed to stop alienating myself from everybody and get over the hurt. Stepsister is getting married and she wanted me as a bridesmaid. I told them no. Stepsister started crying, saying I'm ruining her wedding. She asked if it has to do with me not having a +1 because she could pair me with one of ex-boyfriend's single best men and I wouldn't feel lonely then. I got really angry and told her I didn't want to go to her wedding because I don't like her. She started crying again, calling me bitter and a hag for purposely wanting to hurt her on her big day. I left. My mum called me later saying if I didn't show up, at least as a guest, I'm cut off from the whole family. You see, they need me there so people see there's no hard feelings between us and that I have blessed their marriage because she has been getting a whole lot of shit from family for what she did to me. I'm so angry now. What's between sister-in-law and I is broken beyond repair. Why is it so hard for them to understand? Plus, I do have a +1 should I decide to turn up, and stepsister would regret the day she invited me there. I have half a mind to do it and ruin her day. I love my mum and my sisters, but I'm tired of them choosing stepsister's side, and I know mum is serious that she would cut me off if I didn't attend. She loves my stepdad very much, and upsetting stepsister means upsetting him. Any advice on how to tackle this? Because whether I turn it, I am the loser.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.